Whoa. I'm at the corner of Maple and St. Paul Streets here in Burlington, Vermont. This is the first project in the Great Streets Initiative. And as you can see, the trucks are out here, the heavy equipment is out here today because they're actually taking out some of what they've already put in. Today, we're going to find out more about that on Travels with Charlie. Welcome to another episode of Travels with Charlie, Vermont politics in real life. So my guests for today, City Council President Wright and Burlington Mayor Miro Weinberger were at our spin class today at the Edge in South Burlington. Thanks for joining us today. Kurt got the memo and we didn't about how to dress the bicycle.
Or I didn't get the memo. I'm not sure which it is.
Well, I thank you both for being here today, and obviously want to talk about a serious issue that's happening in Burlington right now, and that's the Great Streets Initiative. Both of you are familiar with it. Could give us a little backstory on what the Great Streets Initiative is.
I'd be happy to do that. I do want to note used to going into your studios on the radio without these cameras and eating donuts. It's quite a switch to
It's a little different, isn't it?
Where are the donuts?
To be
this is how I keep in shape, Miro.
It's quite impressive. You look great, Charlie. Here's the idea with the Great Streets Initiative. I think it's pretty interesting, and let's start at the big picture. I know we're going to get down into some of the details, which we've had some challenges on and we're working through. But the big picture, 25% of all the real estate in the downtown is in the public right-of-ways that the city is responsible for and owns and makes improvements to. At times, we may make an adjustment to how much of the asphalt or how much of the right-of-way is dedicated to cars. I want to be really clear. No one thinks that cars are going away as a critical piece of, people have suggested I hate cars somehow. I understand, of course, that cars are the dominant way that we get around today and are going to continue to be for a long time.
You also understand anecdotally, just from comments that I hear when I was doing my radio program, and even now, Kurt, you can probably back me up on this. A lot of people say, man, Burlington they don't want cars anymore. They want it to be a bikeable city. Kurt, let's bring you in here. Maybe we should slow it down a little bit too. I don't know about you. I'm getting a little winded here, guys.
I was going to say, Charlie.
The mayor's showing us off. Look at him go. Look at him go.
I was going to say, Charlie, you're pedaling awfully slow.
I know, for instance, you have not supported a number of the initiatives in the Great Streets Initiative.
Go to St. Paul Street. Talking about slow down traffic, that's one of the things I've heard. How much more do you slow down traffic at a four-way stop?
Yeah.
I mean, I worked on that street, so I know I'm very familiar with that street. It's down at Carey's for a long time, and I've driven on it a gazillion times. I've walked on it a gazillion times.
I grew up on that street.
You grew up
I'm three houses down from that intersection. That's where I grew up.
I think that for me, the agenda just goes too far. What happened on St. Paul Street is emblematic of that. I don't see where you needed to have these curb cuts way out there like that to begin with. And I don't get, I appreciate the answers the mayor's given on this, but I still am kind of flummoxed as to how that really happened. As soon as I went on the street, when I first heard about it, I went and said, this is not going to work.
Let's do a grade change. All right, here we go. Uphill. Come on. All
right.
There we go.
Wait a minute.
I don't want to go that far.
Yeah. So the questions the further up you push that, the tougher the questions get. And you need to dial back and just push it down there. St. Paul and Maple Street. The project was not completed. That's sort of the first step in the Great Streets Initiative, and there was a lot of criticism after the curbs had been put in.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't completed and poured, but once the curbs were put in, people were saying, I try to make the corner and I can't do it. And to your credit, you listened to them and you're going to dial that back a little bit. But my question is, why wasn't that scrutinized a little bit more before you went ahead with it and poured the curbs?
There's not really a great answer for what went wrong here, other than there was a screw up. There was analysis that should have been done before the design was finalized and built that didn't happen. They did look at, could a 40-foot fire truck, a ladder truck, make it through there? And the analysis came back yes on that. And then they said, okay, that's about as big a vehicle
Yeah.
as we should care about.
But they really couldn't.
Well, here's what
Yeah.
went wrong is the engineers projected when they did that analysis was a fire engine taking the whole intersection with their lights on and their sirens
in
blazing.
other words, no other cars in the way.
Exactly.
Is anybody
But-
accepting blame for that, or you're not pointing fingers?
Well,
look at the guilty party and whistle.
There's a lot of blame to go around here. That
Yeah.
we should have caught it internally on our team. There was an outside engineer who
Yeah.
I think, was they're doing the redesign, and I think there's an acknowledgement that either party could have and sort of should have caught it. There will be different protocols going forward as a result of this.
Kurt, you were pretty skeptical of it right from the get-go, weren't
I
you?
was, and just let me be clear. I
Yeah.
mean, the mayor's a friend.
I know.
And I supported the mayor in the last election, and I support him on much of his agenda. We differ on this one, and we have some significant differences on this one. The mayor's acknowledged there was a problem there. They are working to fix it.
Yeah.
The curb's out. They ripped it out on Friday.
They
so.
ripped it out. I do this little radio show that you made famous for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And the other day, an issue came up on the show, and it took on a life of its own. Caller after caller after caller
Yeah.
who were calling up and saying, this agenda is out of control. There's places where bike lanes make sense.
Yeah.
There's places where they don't make sense. And that's what I am afraid of, is that we're just foisting too much of this. But when I drive around, I'm saying to myself, look, we've got all these other distractions that are slowing traffic down as it is, and
Yeah.
now throw in all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's making it undrivable, in my opinion, almost.
Well, what's the
And-
business community
I
saying?
just think
Is
it's over. I really think that overstates it. I mean, the number of parking spaces that have been removed in the downtown it's almost none. And in general, from all the data that I can see, and this is an area we have good data, it does not line up with this notion that people can't get to Burlington anymore, people are staying home, not shopping there, and that we are at historic highs in our gross receipts and our sales tax number. We are either at record numbers or very near record numbers. I don't want to support the notion that there's no parking in Burlington, people aren't coming down. People are continuing to come down in historic numbers from everything we can see, and we want to keep it that way.
I want to make clear, I'm not saying there's no parking in Burlington, that people can't find parking.
Yeah.
I'm saying these on-street parking spaces are incredibly valuable, and we have to be very careful about taking those parking spaces away. It's great to have people bike and walk and wherever they can in Burlington, but we should not push an agenda that is making it tougher and tougher for people to actually be able to drive around the city.
I don't know, Miro and Kurt, I think maybe we're not going far enough with just bicycles. Unicycles. Can you see it now? Unicycles in the city of Burlington.
Pogo sticks.
Pogo sticks.
It's not so far off. Right? You see these,
Charlie, don't give him any ideas.
Check our odometers. I'm at 6.5 miles. Kurt, how far'd you go? My heart rate is
5.2?
0, which I don't
Now,
understand.
where's the mileage?
Way in the
down
bottom.
there in the lower right there.
Yeah.
I
Miro?
went 2.5 miles.
2.5 miles.
You
Come
could
on.
not have gone
You've been
double
pedaling
me.
backwards.
Wow.
All right.
This
I'm going
says
to
I
give
went 8.3 miles.
Wow,
Yes.
I got to catch
I
up
don't,
to you.
I don't, that's
All right.
not possible.
Magic wand. This is the part of the show where I give you each a magic wand and I let you wave it. You can do whatever you want with it. Miro, what would you do with it?
A magic wand would be very useful for this. If you could wave a magic wand in these, the vision that we've laid out in the Walk Bike Master Plan is just
Kurt would
done.
go along with you.
Is just done. You don't have all the construction disruption. You can get the engineering perfectly right. That would be a lot easier than what we actually have to do to make this
Wave
happen.
the wand.
My magic wand would be we build more housing downtown, we have more jobs downtown where this stuff can happen organically, people can work and walk and bike there, but that we don't create policies where we're trying to make it tough for people to be able to drive so that they don't use these streets, but we make it there where vehicular traffic can move easily, safely, and efficiently through the city, which I think we're not doing now.
I want to thank both of my guests today, City Council President Kurt Wright and Burlington Mayor Miro Weinberger, for being with me. Thanks to the folks at The Edge for giving us an opportunity to get on the spin cycles. I think we've worked up an appetite here. It's going to be an interesting City Council meeting tonight.
Well, you got to get somebody else to run the meeting tonight. I'm not too tired.
I think a couple of beers before the meeting might go good. Thank you both for being with me today, and I'll see you in my travels.
on your mind.
And once I
Huh?
start talking,
Look at
I
him,
like
he
get
really-
going.
8.5 miles. Holy crap! I only went 6. I went 6.9.
No wonder you did 6 miles to my
That's
two,
what it
though.
says. I don't
You
know
were
if it was
pedaling hard
reset at the
enough.
beginning or not.
I
2
didn't see
miles
you-
over here.
I didn't see you pedaling that much
I was
harder than me.
pedaling 6.9. Look
I
at
don't
that.
buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah, good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Well,
Really
see
do.
you.
Really do.
I'll
See you in
see
a
you
couple hours.
shortly.